Hello, friends. So, we are in the midst of this slowdown, lockdown. To all the people working out there, making their best efforts to make their life and the world a better place, hearty congratulations and wishing you all the very best. I think the man has discovered newer and newer and newer ways of intelligently manipulating economic systems to create undue and pecuniary advantage to a select few and deprivation to a large number of people. And I will explain this by one very simple factor, and I think you will automatically pick it up. Suppose you say that somebody is a very rich man. Let's say, for example, I'm not there, but I'm just giving it as an example. Imagine me in the place of, let us say, Bill Gates, or let's say Dhirubhai Ambani, or any rich man that you want to imagine, the Sultan of Brunei. So the moment you say Raja is a rich man, what does that mean? It means I've got a lot of wealth. So let's say Raja is a billionaire. So does that mean that Raja has got stacks of billions of rupees of currency at his home? Is that billionaire? Then you say, no, that's not billionaire. Raja has got wealth, he has got properties, he has got vehicles, he has got industries, he has got this, he has got that, he has got villas, he has got gardens, he has got aircrafts. Oh, I see. So he has got aircrafts, he has got villas, he has got yacht, he has got bungalows, all of which he manages by himself. So he drives his own Porsche cars, flies his own kind of flights, navigates his own kind of ships, and he maintains his own villas. Then you say, don't be crazy. Why would he do that? He has got hundreds and hundreds of servants who do that. Oh, his industries are run by workers. I mean, workers work over there. His garden and villa is maintained by a number of servants. Oh, I see. So now let me give you a new definition of being rich. Raja Krishnamurti is rich because in the way he lives his life every day, there are hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of people not so rich, moderately economically well off, or less than moderately well off, or maybe slightly even poor, who are continuously doing work and creating services, and accumulation of all those services and all those products and all those comforts put together at the disposal of Raja Krishnamurti is what makes him rich. In other words, thousands and thousands of people's, poor people's, moderate economic people's effort and services is equivalent to the richness of one person. In other words, my dear friends, richness is dependent on not so rich, or richness is dependent on reasonable levels of economic deprivation or economic averageness or even poverty. This is the beauty about duality of life. I want you to please spend some time and just look at this amazing, what I call as the duality of the material world. And by the way, every philosophy talks about this illusory duality. In the Hindu philosophy, this is the para and apara reality. In the Indian philosophy, this is the world of forms or material. In Tamil, we call it Porul Sarndha Ulagam, and the world of the non-material, Aham Sarndha Ulagam. In Tirukkural and such very, very powerful kind of messages of life, they talk about crossing the Irumai. Irumai means the myth of duality. What is there and what is not there. Even in philosophy like Islam, in Quran, they talk about this world of Porul Sarndha Ulagam or economic reality, and then they talk of the other world where when you go beyond this, there is this land of God. Christianity talks of that land of God as much as there is this land of existence. Fundamentally, what we are talking about is that the material reality is the biggest illusion, and we continue to work and perpetuate this illusion to its greater and greater dimensions. And then the bubble goes bigger, and the illusion goes bigger, and the illusion goes bigger until a coronavirus comes and pricks it. And then the bubble bursts. What we are seeing, my friends, in my opinion, is the bubble burst of one particular kind. These three crazy things that the human being we are into. Objective reality has got three factors: time, quantity, and quality. So far our meaning making with time was the faster the better. But we didn't know the difference between speed, going fast, and being hasty and crazily mad and blind in running. The second dimension of objective reality was quantity. So by that we said bigger is better and we must try to have more and more until we lost all the clarity about the difference between need and greed. Beyond the point, it's not needs or even wants, it's the greed that has been driving us, running a greed-based kind of life for a long, long time. And the third dimension of objective reality is quality. Quality is when there is a standard of a higher order. Quality is when there is an exclusivity of a particular sophistication, aesthetics, uniqueness that one can bring in. But very soon, this uniqueness of individuality, which was a matter of joy, matter of pride, exclusivity of offering, is replaced by arrogance. I'm very different. I'm very exclusive. I'm special. And the more and more this starts intoxicating, arrogance replaces uniqueness. So, against speed, haste, against need, greed, and against uniqueness of quality and value, arrogance. We human beings have been overtaken with this, not even recognizing that these three diseases have got embedded within us. And then comes a disease. It says, no way, slow down. Not just slow down, shut down. No way, running around more and more and more. Restrict, restrict, less and less and less. And then says, no exclusivity. Everybody is in the same boat. Not necessarily in the same boat. Everybody is in the same troubled water. Your boats may be slightly different than mine, but we are all in the same situation. There is nothing called uniqueness. The rich man's suffering and the poor man's suffering in such a phase on many counts are very similar. It's a leveling up that's taking place. So, a warning sign against haste, a warning sign against greed, and a warning sign against arrogance and ego trips of life. I think we need to look at this very carefully, my dear friends. Time for all of us to reflect more deeply. Let's look at ourselves deeply. Let's observe our own beliefs. What meaning have we been making of life? What meaning have we been making of social systems? What meaning have we been making about success, achievement? What meaning have we been making of ourselves, myself? Time for us to become a lot more self-aware. Would like to share more on this. Think about it a little more. Maybe we can even have a webinar. We can talk together. Take care. All the very best.